Hey everybody, Alan Sanders here, and today we're talking through how to record a song from start to finish. And the song that we're going to feature today is a song that I wrote, and it hasn't come out yet, so you're going to get to hear it here first and actually see it recorded live. So this will be pretty cool, and I hope you enjoy. So let's jump in. The first thing we're going to do is open up our DAW, and I use Pro Tools. It's the program that I use to record with, and we'll just open it up here, and I'm going to create a new project from a template that I created. It's got all the parts that I usually use for a bluegrass song. And for this project, for now, we'll just call it Uphill Climb. That's not going to be the final name, probably. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll just call it Uphill Climb, and we'll put it on our desktop for now. And usually I do 48 sample rate, 24-bit. You can go higher than 48. My audio interface will actually do higher than that, but most of the distributors require 48 or 44 anyway, so you have to downgrade on your way out. So I just keep it at 48. So let's create this. And I'm just going to start out by looking at the parts that I need. So what parts do I need? For this song, I'm actually not going to have a baritone or a tenor vocal part, so I will delete those. And okay, so I'm going to have most likely all the rest of these parts right here, as you can see. One of the things that you can see right here is a click track. That is very important to what we do. It keeps the entire band together. I'm actually going to record all this myself, but keeps the entire band playing together and allows you to edit really easily. So for our click track, I actually made a template, and it looks like this. It's got a shaker and a shaker accent. So what actually happens is there is a downbeat and an offbeat. So it's like boom bop boom bop boom bop boom bop, and it's pretty cool. That was a good click track impersonation, wasn't it? So we have our click track, and the first thing I'm going to do is just decide what tempo this is going to be. So here we go. And you want to get this right. Okay, I think that's the speed that I'm going to do this song at. So 108 is what I'm choosing, and basically what I did to adjust that tempo was on the left-hand side over here, there's a little tempo marker. You can just double click on it and type in whatever you need to type in and click OK, and it will change. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to map out our song. So there's, verses, choruses, there's probably some instrumental breaks and stuff like that in the song. And I want to map those out in the session so that when I go to edit certain parts, it's easier to edit those parts and know where I am in the song. It just saves a lot of time in the long run. And it does take a little bit of time to set it up and map it out, but it saves you a lot of time when you're trying to edit later on. So this song has 3 verses and maybe an instrumental or 2. We'll find out. I typically try to do it on the fly. So let's just try and map this song out. So the first thing that I do is I give myself 2 measures of lead in before I actually start. That way I can get time to get set up on my microphone. I'm recording by myself, so when I hit record by myself, and then I have to get into place before the song starts. So I give myself a couple extra measures just to know where I'm going to come in. So let's try to kind of set this up here. So I'm just going to go through and map out the song now. And I'm using these markers right here to add the different parts of the song. So right now I'm singing the song in my head to know where I'm at in the actual song. Let's do a banjo break right here. Of course. And I'll end it right there. So that'll be my very last hit on my instruments right there. So what I do is I want to turn down my click track at that final point, because if I just leave it going, chances are you'll probably be able to hear the click bleeding through when I'm recording, and you don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate this. So you can automate it by doing track view and volume. It should automatically default to this look. Your click track should. And really quickly, to create one, you just do track and create click track, and then it'll pop up. And you make sure you have your output set right here. I've got it set to 1 and 2. So 1 is my reference monitors, and 2 is my headphones that I listen through. So I have it going to both. So I'm just going to automate it, and I'm just going to click once to create a point, click again, and drag it down to turn the volume down. So now it just automatically cuts off right there at that point. So this is what it sounds like. Hopefully you can hear this right there. So now our song is mapped out. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to record the bass track. That's typically the foundation that I use for my rhythm section. So I'm going to get my bass out and we'll get started with that. Okay, so for our bass track, what we want to do, I've got my bass plugged into my audio interface up here, and I've got my gain set to where I've got just enough signal. Check this out on my Pro Tools here. The peak of the audio isn't reaching the top quite. It's coming into the 75-80% range probably. So it's not going to peak out if I happen to hit an extra hard note or anything. So that's kind of where I will set my gain for my bass. You don't have to record it as super hot like you did in the analog days. You want to try to get it about 60 to 70% on the meter. If you go too high, you might get clipping, or you might get some noise in your microphone. Typically, my mic will pick up the AC unit, like it's that sensitive. So I try to keep it between 60 and 70, so it's not picking up a whole lot of room noise. And I can do that with different instruments and things. So obviously, my bass is electric, so we won't need to worry about that. But let's go ahead, and the first thing I want to do is actually tune this thing. So if you go to your mix window, you can come to your insert section, go to plugins, and come down to other and go to end tune. And that's just a tuner, and that is the first thing that I do is tune my bass. So let's do that. I'm just watching the little number right below the letter of the note that I'm hitting. See, it says 2 right below. If I adjust it, now it says it kind of moves a little bit. I want to try to get it at 0. 1. 0. There it is. Okay. That sounds pretty good. So, let's go ahead and just try to record this song. And let's see if we can make this thing happen. It may take a couple takes, and that is totally fine. Sometimes it takes me 45 minutes to an hour to record one single good thing. So let's go ahead and try to make this work. So at the beginning, it's just going to be guitar all the way through the first verse, and we'll come in on the hit of the verse. So let me just play through the verse, and then once we get to verse 2 is when we'll come in. So here we go. I already messed it up. Let's go back to the chorus. Let's redo that one line. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I've messed up so much, I'm just going to start over. I don't like making a lot of edits. So we're just going to start at the beginning. Okay, so I kind of forgot what I was doing on the end. So let's listen to the chorus again. I remember what I was going to do. Okay, so let's go back. And this is why I record bass first, because I kind of run through ideas in my head that will set the foundation for every other instrument. Okay, let's listen to that. And then I want those other ones to be regular. Let me fix that. Let's kind of take that together a little bit. So I'll use my tools up here on the top left hand side. It's my trim tool. Let's listen to that. Yeah, and that sounds weird by itself, the bass part does, but it's syncopated, and that's exactly how I want it to sound. So now I want to show you a tool that is really cool. So you can tell on this audio interface that I have, the entire bass track, the bass track that I always do, the direct lines are always a little bit ahead for some reason. My microphones are never that way, but the direct lines are for some reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tool called Elastic Audio. So the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select all this audio here, and this will allow me to quickly and easily put everything onto the grid and put it in time. And I've just discovered this, so we're going to try this out. So here's what we can do is over here we can click on this little arrow on the bass track, go to Elastic Audio, and we'll select monophonic. So polyphonic is for instruments that have multiple notes like a guitar or a piano. Rhythmic is more for drums. Monophonic is like things like that have one note, such as a bass. And then vary speed, I can't exactly remember what that one is. I know the first three, so you could probably look it up, but we're going to use monophonic. And we're going to go down here to rendered processing. We want to hear the final product, not what it actually is doing under the hood. We want to hear the final product. And then I want to switch this to tick. So samples is more like it's figuring out where the audio is based on the time code. So at 28 seconds, it knows this audio is supposed to be here. I actually want it to be in ticks, which is setting it to the metronome, to the actual grid of what we're editing. And you can see that grid if you kind of zoom in with your zoom tool. There's all the beats inside of our song. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all these, and I'm going to click Option 0, and I'm going to quantize it. So what it's going to do, it's going to put all my notes onto the grid, and I'll just do it by eighth notes because some of the runs I did are more than quarter notes. So eighth notes and apply, and it kind of shifts everything for you. So let's go through and listen to it now, make sure it's all in time. Yeah, shifts it right on time. It's important to listen to what it does, though, because it could be wrong, so you want to listen to it. Yeah, see right there it kind of messed up a little bit, so let's fix that. We can come in here and do track view and warp. So what warp is, when you quantize the notes, it warps the audio to put it in time. Well, sometimes it gets a little off, so what we can do is change those points and make them just exactly how we want them. So you can create a new point by doing Control and click. Move this point. Yeah, because I didn't play it off like that. Let's listen to that again. It's pretty close. Close enough for now. Let's keep going through. Okay, so what we have to do is move this control point out of the way so we can bring this one over. And that note kind of sounds weird because it's drawing it out, so I'm going to move. It's not terrible. Yeah, cool. And even that last note is offbeat. It's not on the beat, and that's intentional. Okay, so there is our bass track right there. And the next thing we're going to do is a guitar track. We actually won't have a lead guitar track, so we can just go ahead and delete this. So let's do rhythm guitar now. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and tune up really quick. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you can hear me now, and I know you can kind of see me. So let's talk about first the mic that I chose for acoustic guitar. This is the first place that you start when you're recording an instrument or a vocal or something else, is the type of mic that you will record with. And this is the SM81 by Shure, and I love it for acoustic guitar, and I think it sounds great. I've tried out several different mics on the guitar, and this is the one that I love the most so far. So we've got it set up here, and I have it placed very specifically. So I'm pointing it at the 12th fret of my guitar. The reason I don't point it right at the sound hole is because it gets a little too bassy. Like this guitar that I have is super bassy, so I do not typically point it right at the sound hole. I point it at the 12th fret to roll off some of the bass, yet keep the body of the guitar in there. So I usually stay about this far off of the microphone. Same thing, if you get closer, it tends to get a little bassier, with this guitar at least. So I tend to stay off the guitar at least that much. And again, I'm going to set my gain at about 60 to 70%. So let's go ahead and do that now. That's not bad right there. So let's go ahead and just try and record a few takes with this and see what happens. Also, I like to mute my guitar because, or the instrument that I'm recording, because typically there's a little bit of delay in the audio interface and what I'm actually playing, and it throws me off. So I'm going to mute my guitar so I can't hear it, and I will go ahead and start recording. Maybe, if I know my placement. Here we go, let's try that again. We're having some technical difficulties. That is always typical. See if my cable's going to work here. There we go. Start over. The very first part that people hear is the most important, so it has to be spot on. The rest can kind of waver a little bit, but the first little bit has to be spot on. So let's try it again. Forgot to pause there, so here we go. Let's try again. Still a little bit off on that hit. Let's do it again. There we go. So right away, what I notice is a little bit of inconsistency toward the end in the bass. So what I'm going to do is go back and fix the bass parts first, and then we'll continue recording. So I got the guitar part right, so let's go back and fix the bass. Yes, let's make those edits. Yes. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and do the mandolin part now. Okay, so here's the mandolin. We're going to go ahead and tune it up first thing. Close enough for bluegrass right there. Okay, so the mic I've chosen for this is the Norman KM184, and it's a pretty small condenser mic. I like it though. Again, I've tried out multiple mics, and this is the one that I like most. It is a lot more sensitive than a dynamic mic would be. So I typically turn the gain quite a bit down, and I still get it the same amount on my DAW though, on my Pro Tools. So let's try to get the gain right. That's about right there. And I typically point the mic at the sound hole at the bottom of the mandolin. It gets enough body to it that it sounds pretty good, and I get it about the same as a guitar, about I don't know, a few inches off of the instrument. So that's kind of where I have it. I'll go ahead and mute the mandolin. And already I'm going to turn the guitar down. I like to hear the click over everything else, especially with mandolin, because it has to be on the offbeat. And it doesn't quite sound in tune yet. My Smart has trouble with it. Yeah, see, it's...
Seven hours later.
Okay, so let's listen to that. Let's go ahead and cut the front off of it. There's a spot in that verse, right at the end of the banjo break, I believe, that we need to fix. Yeah, I just didn't know what was coming, so we're just going to copy and paste that. Now for this part, for this verse right here, I'm actually going to be playing lead mandolin, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that all out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and actually quantize this as well. And what I can do is, again, go to Elastic Audio. This will be polyphonic this time. It'll be tick-based. And again, we want to hear the rendered processing. There we go. Now we're going to select the parts that we want it to quantize. And actually the very last parts I don't want it to quantize because I know it tends to get off. So I'm going to do this. Again, option 0. And we're going to do just quarter notes is fine. And for Mandolin, I'm going to offset the grid by 1. I don't want it to be on the beat, on the downbeat. I want it to be on the offbeat. So that's why I'm offsetting the grid by 1. Now let's listen to it. Okay, it's doing some really weird stuff here. Okay, it had no idea what to do. So what we'll do is just listen through here and do it the old-fashioned way. We'll just cut and shift. And again, I'm only going to shift the things that I hear. So I'm not going to sit and watch really close. I'm just going to listen. Let's listen back in there, in the chorus. I think that one caught my ear, right there. So what I did is I hit my selector tool, and I just clicked on one of these markers here, these beat markers, and I click tab. And what that does is it tabs over, it goes over to the first frequency in that waveform so that you can cut it and split it right there. And then you do it after the thing that you want to move. You go to your hand tool and you just move that one section. And then again, we'll need to kind of shift this over so that it doesn't get cut off. I kind of forgot to tell you how to cut. To cut on Pro Tools, you do Command E. But if you use Pro Tools, I assume you know that. And this may seem like really picky, but you want to have a really solid structure to your rhythm section. That one looks ahead, but I don't notice it, so I'm going to leave it. Like, I can't audibly hear it, so use your ears when you're editing and mixing, not your eyes. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's do the lead mandolin part now. So I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play around with this, do a few takes of it, and see where it goes. I have a loop record set so I can do multiple takes. I like that take, so I'm going to use that take and try to pair it together. It took me a little longer to get off the lead and back to the rhythm, so I'm going to delete some of that rhythm still. about right there. So let's listen to that. Yes, I think I like that, and we're going to use that and move on to the banjo. I've got my mic here, and I'm going to tune up my banjo really quick, so let's go ahead and do that. Got the old IntelliTouch tuner on there. Alright, so we got the banjo tuned up, and I keep the microphone a few inches away from the banjo itself. The banjo I can keep a little farther away from the mic since it's a louder instrument. And I have an MXL 910 microphone. I just love the way that it sounds. I bought it a long time ago as part of a deal on Musician's Friend, and I've played around with how it sounds on different instruments, and I think banjo is the one I like it the most on. I really haven't played around with a lot of banjo mics, so there may be something better out there, but I like the way this sounds. I don't think it sounds bad. So this is the mic that I use, and we'll go ahead and get the gain going here. It's a little hot. That's not bad right there, so let's go ahead and start recording. Just a little bit at a time. Let's try that whole thing again. Again. Let's do the last part again. Let's kind of make our edits now. We'll just move those one little hits just a little bit to where they line up. Yeah, they're just a hair off. You can barely see it. But again, mix with your ears, not your eyes. Alright, on to our vocals. Alright, so this is my vocal mic. It's an MXL 4000, and I love it. Sounds great. I don't really have any complaints with it. It picks up a lot of room noise, though, so I have this shield, this vocal shield around the back of it. I have a pop filter on the front of it. It does come with a little windscreen, but the windscreen is not enough to really misdirect the air that's coming from my mouth on the plosives, on the P's, on the T's, and stuff like that. So I got this right here in front of it, and I think it sounds halfway decent. It sounds really good in an enclosed space, so I don't have a closet to record in here at my parents' house, but if I was at my apartment or something like that, I would record it in a closet, and it sounds a lot more isolated and picks up less of the ambient noise around it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get our gain set for our vocals. And what I'll do, I'll just sing a little bit and kind of try to watch the meter on my computer to see. And when you do your vocals, when you do your own vocals, you really have to watch out for peaking. So it's better to kind of set it a little low than it would be to, you just belt it out and you start clipping. You don't want to ruin a good take. So let's go ahead and try it a little bit. It's a long and lonely winter on this barren piece of ground. Yeah, that's not too bad. The peaks are still in the yellow, like 75-80%, so that's about where we want it. So let's go ahead and just do several vocal takes. And typically what I do is I sing through the entire song a couple times, and then I'll piece different vocal takes together. And then if I still don't have what I need, I will go back and redo certain spots. So let's just do a few takes and see how it goes. It's a long and lonely winter on that barren piece of ground. In the quiet of the darkness is where my only thoughts are found. Thoughts like snow build all around me as the feeling closes in. When you think you're sinking deeper, just remember this, my friend. You keep on going on the uphill climb. You keep on going till you see the light. Winter's gone, the snow is melted, rays of sun are shining through. Everything is getting clearer, everything comes into view. You keep on going on the uphill climb. You keep on going till you see the light. Alright, let's edit that together. So what I have opened up here are all of these multiple takes, and you can open these up by clicking this little arrow on your track. Go to track view and playlists. And playlists are basically different takes. And as you kind of saw, after you do a take, you can click and drag it down. You can hit control, and that'll keep it right in line with where it's supposed to be, and you can release it into that little space down there, and that'll put it on a new spot. So let's go ahead and just listen through this and see if we can't do some of this vocal editing. So I didn't necessarily like any of those that I just heard. So what I can do now is easily copy and paste from another chorus into this chorus. And it may seem like cheating, and it is, but I'm going to do that because I know I've got a better take of it somewhere. So let's just keep going through here. We keep on going. We keep on going. We keep on going. We keep on going. Keep on going. We keep on going. Here's a prime example. I'm just going to steal this phrase right here and paste it down here. Going. We keep on going. So let's go to some other choruses real quick and see if we can't find those two lines. Be the light till you see the light, till you see the light. I like that take, so let's go ahead and throw that here. It's a little bit off. Let's see where it needs to go. Right here. There we go. Till you see the light. So now let's just take this entire chorus and paste it to the second one. See how easy that was? Super easy. Didn't have to do a lot of work to copy and paste that because it's all lined up to the click track, and that's what we need. Awesome, so there's our vocals right there. Now you'll notice we don't have the fiddle on here. I'm going to have my buddy Daniel probably record the fiddle, so it won't be on this video, unfortunately, but that is okay. Let's go ahead and tune the vocals now. There we go. So this is in the key of E minor. Apply that. And we're just going to play through it and let it tune the vocals. We will not hear it until it's done. Now we can skip over this part. Okay, so it's done its processing, and we should be able to hear the difference now, and we can definitely see the difference, and we need to make sure that all of the notes ended up where they're supposed to be. So let's go back through and listen to the vocals and make sure they tuned out right. It's a long and lonely winter on that barren piece of ground, in the quiet of the darkness is where my only thoughts are found. Thoughts like snow fall all around me as I feel. So there's a little. Thoughts like snow fall all around. Like snow fall all around. Snow fall all around. Snow fall all around me. Only thoughts are found. Thoughts like snow fall all around me. I have to play with that a little bit. Snow fall. It's just a little too fast. Thoughts like snow fall all around me. like snow fall all around me. That's better. As I feel it floating in, when you think you're sinking deeper, just remember this, my friend. We keep on going on the uphill climb. We keep on going till you see the light. Winter's gone. Thoughts like snow. We can adjust that correction just a touch. Winter's gone. Still snapping a little bit too much. Try to adjust it to where it doesn't. Winter's gone. The snow is melted. It's a little better. Rays of sun are shining through. That light was just a touch too dramatic. Let's see if we move it up a little bit, if that helps. See the light till you see the light going, till you see the light, till you see the light. Much better. Yeah, so there's our vocals right there. Cool. So those are in place, those are edited, they're tuned, and I think they sound halfway decent. So now we can go on to our mixing stage. So the first thing that we're going to do is start to work on the tone of the instruments. And this is something that we don't have to do a whole lot to, because we've already selected our mic placement, we've already selected our specific mic. So the changes that we make are going to be pretty minimal for the most part. So let's just go through here and listen one at a time. And typically what I like to do is I will listen to one instrument at a time and try to carve out anything that needs carving out. So let's start on the bass. Thoughts are found. Thoughts are... So the bass isn't bad. It's got a nice punch to it, and I kind of like how it sounds already, so I'm just going to leave it. So let's go to rhythm guitar. Okay, already, can you hear that low end thud when I really hit the strings on that rhythm? Listen to it again. Especially right in there. There's like some low end there. And here's the thing, is that the rhythm guitar is currently living in the same frequency spectrum as the bass. Some of it is just because of the way that the mic picks up the audio. So what we're going to do is add an EQ here. And we're going to cut out some of that low end with the high pass filter. We'll turn it on. We'll adjust the curve. And let's try it right there and see how it sounds. So here, yeah, that's not bad. Here's the difference. Listen to the difference. And you may listen to that and say, well, it doesn't sound as full. Well, here's the thing, is that when it fits into the entire mix, the bass is going to be taking most of the low end, so you won't have to worry about the fullness of the acoustic guitar as much. And in fact, there is a little bit of high mid frequency that I hear, so let's try to take that out a little bit. Still a little bit low. That's not bad right there. Let's keep going on through here. I don't really have any complaints about the banjo sound. I think I like that sound, so we will go ahead and keep that. Let's listen to mandolin rhythm. It's maybe got some low frequencies in there, and maybe some high mids. Let's listen. Actually, I think that cleaned it up a lot. And I'm going to keep some of those lows because I like a bite, a little bit of bite in the chop of the mandolin. So we'll keep that. We don't have a fiddle yet. We'll keep on going. Lead vocals. It's a long and lonely winter on that barren piece of ground. In the quiet of the darkness is where my only thoughts are found. That's not bad. I like that it has some breath to it. There might be a little bit of low energy. Again, it's not natural to my voice. You know, for most singers, you don't need to have the low end unless you're like some gospel bass singer that's trying to hit these really low notes and impress people with how low your voice sounds. But for the most part, you don't need this low information down here because it's not natural to the voice. So let's cut some of it out and see if it makes a difference. Let's go to the chorus and listen to it. You keep on going on the uphill climb. You keep on going till you see the light. That's better. Let's keep listening to that chorus. You keep on going on the uphill climb. You keep on going till you see the light. You keep on going on the uphill climb. Yeah, I like that. Now notice what I did with the EQ here, and I've done it with these others as well, is I've cut the frequencies out. So I will start by boosting the frequency that I want to hear. And then once I find that nasty frequency, I'll cut it out, because here's our goal as we're doing this, is we're not trying to necessarily enhance the instrument or the vocal. You know, our goal is not to make something that sounds bad sound good. Our goal is to make something that sounds good sound more natural. So what we're doing is we're carving out the information in the sound spectrum that doesn't sound natural to the voice. You keep on going on the uphill climb. You keep on going till you see the light. Listen to that last line again. Till you see the light. 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 Yeah. Okay, so typically if I had a vocal that was really dynamic, like it was really loud and really quiet in certain spots, I would put a compressor on it. And Pro Tools comes with a few different compressors, and I've got a few compressors here as well. But since this vocal is pretty much all at the same level, like it's not very dynamic, I'm just going to leave it like it is, and I don't think we'll need to actually put a compressor on it. I didn't put one on the bass either. I think the bass is punchy enough as it is. If I were to need more punch out of the bass, I would probably add a compressor to it that's got a fast attack on it, and that usually kind of takes care of that problem for the most part. So, okay, we've gone through all of these parts now, and what we can do now is pan these tracks left to right. So, what we're going to do is pan the rhythm guitar to the left, leave the banjo in the middle, pan the mandolin rhythm to the right. We'll also pan the lead mandolin over to the right, same as the rhythm. And the reason that we're doing this, we're panning things left and right, is we're creating space in the mix for the instruments to sit. Because if they're all right up the middle, what happens is things get lost. Think of stacking things right in the center of a box. Chances are the middle of the box is going to pile up pretty quick and things are going to get lost on the bottom. But if you spread it out on the sides of the box, it's easier for you to see or quote-unquote hear these audio tracks. Now, I've put the rhythm guitar and the mandolin on separate sides because they're both doing a downbeat, like a downbeat chop. And they're both essentially playing the same rhythm style. So I'm putting them on both sides because they're similar, and they can both kind of drive both sides of the audio file at the same time. So let's go ahead and listen. And you could put the banjo on either side. I tend to keep the bass in the middle and the lead vocal in the middle. So let's just go ahead and go through here and listen to some of these. And what we're going to do is start to work on our volume levels. And I've already done some adjustments to some of these clips, so I'll talk you through what those look like here in a second. But we've got some different parts that we're going to listen to specifically. So we're going to start with our bass, and again, this is kind of the foundation for our entire file. So I'm going to start building the rhythm section first. So let's go ahead and try and build this. I'm going to keep the bass turned down a little bit because typically when I'm translating this mix to other places, it tends to be really bass heavy. So I'm just going to leave it down lower than I normally would and then try to bring in our rhythm guitar and see how it sounds. Okay, I'm going to leave it down right about there, just to where I can barely hear it. That's typically where it ends up landing in other speakers and mixes. So let's keep going. Mandolin rhythm here. Might be a little bit of low frequency. Back to that. So notice what I'm doing here is I'm still adjusting the EQ a little bit because when they're put all together, they just sit differently in the mix. So by itself, the mandolin sounded okay without that little low cut, right? That mid cut. But when everything was together, it needed that extra cut. So let's keep on going through here. I'm going to go ahead and recopy that EQ onto here. You just do Option and you click and drag to copy the EQs. Let's go ahead and move to our banjo now. Okay, I'm happier with that. Now notice what I'm making on these changes is they're typically not more than 6 or 8 dB. These changes are very minimal, again, because we've already done the work up front with our mic placement and our specific mics that we chose for those instruments. So we don't have to do much here, and there's just a big difference that we hear already. Let's keep working here. Okay. So for the banjo, we're going to do something a little bit different, and here's what we have to do is we have a rhythm track, the banjo's playing rhythm, and we have a lead track, the banjo's playing lead, all in the same line here, all in the same audio track. So what we have to do is we're going to set our fader right here to the highest point that it's going to be in the solo. So let's do that first. Okay, now why did we do that? It's because we want the highest point of the track to be obviously the thing that sticks out the most. And if we were to try and start with the volume low and boost that one solo section, it's not going to sound as good because we're going to start running into things like clipping, possibly distortion if we go too loud. So we want to make sure that we start with our highest thing first and then turn everything else down. So how do we do that? All we have to do is split up our track. So we'll tab over, do Command E to split it, come to the end of our solo section and do the same thing, Command E to split it. And then you can see down here on the clip itself now there's numbers, and this is where we'll adjust those volumes. And yes, you might notice a little bit of tonal difference when you turn down the clip gain here. I never notice a ton. It might be a little duller at times, but for the most part, there's not a ton of difference in at least what I can hear. For those of you who mix, you may be able to hear a little something different, but that's just kind of the way that I do it. So we've turned our rhythm parts down, and our lead part is still up at 0, basically. So all these rhythm parts, as you can see, turn down to -6. So let's go through and just listen to this song and try to continue to make some adjustments and set the vocals on top now. With this rhythm guitar, there's still a little bit of something in the top end. Yeah, I think it just needed to be adjusted a little over that way. It's a long and lonely winter on that barren piece of ground. In the quiet of the darkness is where my only thoughts are found. Thoughts like snow fall all around me as the feeling closes in. When you think you're sinking deeper, just remember this, my friend. Keep on going on the uphill climb. Yeah, I tend to turn my vocals up a little too much, to where they almost separate from the rest of the mix sometimes. So I have to be careful and mindful of that. That's just one of my personal kind of habits, is turning them up a little too much above the mix. You want them to set on top of the mix, but not stick out so far that you can't hear most of the instruments. It's a long, lonely winter on that barren piece of ground, in the quiet of the darkness is where my only thoughts are found. Thoughts like snow fall all around me as the feeling closes in. When you think you're sinking deeper, just remember this, my friend. Keep on going on the uphill climb. Keep on going till you see the light. Winter's gone, snow is melted, rays of sun are shining through. Everything is getting clearer, everything comes into view. Keep on going on the uphill climb. Did you hear that transition between the banjo and the mandolin? Man, it's so smooth right there. Keep on going on the uphill climb. Just takes over the chop. Keep on going till you see the light. There's our fiddle break. Keep on going on the uphill climb. Keep on going till you see the light. Yeah, let's listen to those hits one more time. See the light. Those are just a little bit off still. That banjo. There we go, that's better. I was having trouble with that banjo. The light. Cool. Well, y'all, I mean, that's it right there. That's our song. And we can basically add in the fiddle part later on, and that'll be the special sauce that kind of puts it all together. We can send this off to a mastering engineer, somebody who really knows how to work it over, and they can kind of rearrange some frequencies if they need to, and do a whole bunch of other stuff, and make it a little louder and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's the entire song right there in a nutshell. That's how I do everything from start to finish to record a song, and all the way to just about putting it out. So had a lot of fun making this video. Hopefully you loved it too. Hopefully you got something out of it. Make sure to like and subscribe to get more videos like this. Hope to see you soon.